welcome to Hi, I'm Ashley, and this is the corner of the internet where I talk about my knitting. I live in a cozy studio apartment with my boyfriend Angel and our two dogs Yaku and Chango. My videos are usually set up where I talk about what I've finished, what I'm wearing, what I'm working on, and any future plans. After that, I take you along with me throughout the week in various places of where I knit with some music in the background so that we can knit together. So first off, I'd like to talk about what I'm wearing.
The sweater number 20 is an oversized cable sweater. It has a boxy fit and dropped shoulders. The wide neck rib is a focal point of the sweater and makes for a unique feature. The sweater is worked from the top down and requires minimal finishing. The Tweety nubs punctuate this authentic rustic yarn spun with 100% wool. The single ply construction gives this yarn a lived-in feel for knitting, relaxed cardigans, pullovers, and cold weather accessories such as hats and mittens. This yarn looks wonderfully knit in everything from stockinette to simple cables and ribbing.
Talk a little bit more about my what I'm wearing. This is the sweater number 20 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is an all-over cabled sweater. It was constructed, it is a drop shoulder, and then you create this V-line neck shape, and I decided to knit this with easier tweed, which is a worsted spun, so not a worsted not a worsted weight, but a worsted spun. So it's quite loosely spun, and I want to say that it is a single ply, if not a 2-ply. This is in the color black, and this is an Aran weight yarn, which is what is requested from the pattern. You know, people often say that using a 1 or 2-ply yarn makes the cables flat. I did not mind. That was intentional in this garment. I did want a, you know, an all over textured garment, but I wanted it to be subtle. That's why I did do it in black. And I wanted the tweed to really pop. It is just such a beautiful yarn. It is non-superwash. It is 100% wool. Man, when I blocked this, so when I washed it and laid it out to, you know, for the yarn to relax and just like fall into itself, it smelled so much of sheep, which I love that smell. But this is what the tweed looks like. It is just so stunning. It is rustic. I would say that people that are sensitive to wools, or if they have sensitive skin, this would probably bother them. But to me, it does not bother me. And I just thought this was the most perfect fall garment with these speckles of orange, and there's almost like green in there, some yellow. It's just a very autumnal color, and I think the cables look so cool. I'm just really thrilled with this sweater. It is quite oversized. I think my gauge was a little off but I think that's the point of the sweater, is for it to be oversized. And something else that I did to kind of modify this garment is that the neckband is supposed to be double layered. So you're supposed to knit, you know, the collar and knit the same length in order to fold it together in order to have like a really thick collar. I just went ahead and did one, just like one layer. I did not continue knitting in order to double fold it. And you know, it worked out great because this is all the yarn that was left over of this garment. So it was, yeah, I think it was perfect, and I really enjoyed the knit. You know, my favorite things knitwear is a very well-known designer, and I think her designs are very easy to follow, digestible. The thing is though that, and you know, this is something that's been a complaint in the knitting community, is that she doesn't have the most size inclusive patterns. I believe this one is one of her older ones. And so there are only 3 sizes in this pattern, but since it is so oversized, I think it fits quite an array of people, but I am not an expert at this. I don't necessarily choose designs, whether they're size inclusive or not, but I am mindful of it, and you know, whatever designs that I suggest or that I talk about, you know, it's up to your discretion on whether you want to purchase the design. You know, do your research and see if it aligns with your ethics and your overall goals when it comes to knitting, and you know, if it fits your ideals. Is he not the cutest? Next, I'd like to talk about the Favo sweater that I am working on. This is a design by Fiber Tales. I'm a really big fan of her designs. I think they're all so beautiful, and her designs are very inspired by nature, which I really appreciate. So this is what I have so far. It is a different construction than what I'm used to. I usually knit things either top down or bottom up in the round. This one is knitted in sections, and then it's going to be seamed. But this is the first front panel. So it's this all over texture design. It is so beautiful. It is going to be pretty cropped, which I think is going to be really versatile in my wardrobe. I can wear it over dresses, over high-waisted pants or skirts. And I'm looking forward to having this in my wardrobe. And it's just really enjoyable to knit. This honeycomb pattern, or brioche, I believe, pattern, is so fun to knit up. I am knitting this with Wool Dreamers de Hesa de Barrera. This is in the colorway I think it's queso crudo. What's really cool about this yarn and this company is that it's based in Spain, and they shear manchega sheep. Manchega sheep is usually, the reason why we farm them is because they produce manchego cheese. So it's very uncommon to shear and make wool out of their fleece. So this is just such a special yarn to me, just because, you know, I think it's just so cute that this yarn is made from a sheep breed that otherwise would not be used for its fleece. And the way that I can describe it, it is soft, but it's spongy. So I would not describe this as rustic, even though this is non-superwash. It doesn't feel rustic. It is spongy. It reminds me of Cormo, if you've worked with Cormo before. It has that kind of spongy, somewhat stiff, and it just feels like a hardy yarn, and I think it's just going to also bring a lot of warmth. And I love this color. It's a very neutral cream color, but it has an undertone of pink to it. I think it's just so nice. And in order to meet the worsted gauge that is requested from the pattern, this is described as a DK weight. I decided to hold it with some Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Powder. I think this pairs really well with the Wool Dreamers. It is also like a neutral cream. It's a bit more muted and almost has undertones of gray, but it also has that hint of pink in it. And both of these together is making this fantastic garment. And I think the stitch definition is really beautiful. So I think this is a, you know, if you're going to use this as a base yarn, this is a great one for color, for texture work. Let me see, it might, I wonder how many plies it is. It's all in Spanish, so let's see. Oh, it says tres cabos, which I'm guessing means 3 cables, or in other words, 3 ply. Which, as you know, 3 plies and up is ideal for textured work. It really makes those cables pop. And finally, you know, I did mention that I applied for a test knit from Tetsi Lutsak, from Tetti's Knitting Garden. And I got accepted. So this is going to be my first test knit. So for those that don't know what designers in the knitting world do in order to kind of understand if their design works, if there's any errors, what they can do to change the design so that it better fits, you know, all different types of body sizes depending on what they're offering. And so they call a knit, a test knit. And so they gather people that are interested in knitting it. This one is free. I will not be paid. There was like a, you know, a discount for the yarn that was suggested for the pattern, but I went ahead and used a different type of yarn. And, you know, usually the design itself is gifted to the testers so that they can go ahead and create it and make any notes, any suggestions, ask any questions from the designer, just so that when the design does come out, it's the best version that it can be for, you know, a diverse group of people. And so I got accepted. Tetti did confirm that I can share that it is going to be called the Polina Vest, which is based off of her Polina pullover, which I did knit. So this is my Polina pullover. Is this not the coolest design. It's a cropped, top-down circular yoke colorwork sweater. I did use the suggested yarn that is the main color, the beige. It is the Studio Denegal. I'm gonna have to find out, but it is in the color oatmeal. Everything will be listed in the description box. And for the contrast color, it is the same one. It's the same color that she has on her, as her design. It's like a foresty green. She used a different type of yarn, but I went ahead and used Rachesaria Pumar's Vovo in the color heather green or olive green. I will also list that below. But both yarns are in a sport weight, which is what is requested from the pattern. And this design is inspired by a Ukrainian artist named Polina Vest. I would suggest looking her art up online. It's just super interesting. It seems like she was just this very eclectic person who art just seemed to pour out of her, and she completely painted her home, the walls, the doors, with her paintings, which were inspired by her life events and also her dreams. And so they're very fantastical and imaginative, and the flowers that are inspired throughout the pullover is very it is very similar to what she painted, and just super interesting. Her house used to be a museum for a while, but unfortunately the house did catch on fire and burn down. And so Teti wanted to, give homage to Polina Vest and designed these this amazing pullover. And now she is creating a similar design, but in vest form. It is going to be in a worsted weight yarn. I went ahead and ordered the base that I mentioned in the last episode, which is the Kinson Co. Owl, which is a worsted weight 50/50 alpaca wool base. I went ahead, I said to myself that if I was chosen for the test knit, that I would gift myself this special yarn in order, as a Christmas gift. And since it is a vest, I don't have to buy as much, since it is a pricey yarn. And so this whole process and this whole project is just going to be very special. My first test knit, working with a designer that I look up to, and just love her designs, and with a yarn that I've had my eye out for years at this point that I'll be able to work with. And so I am just so looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a learning experience. I'm just thrilled. The yarn is on its way. I should be receiving it on Monday, and I do have about a month to get the vest completed. And so with Teti's permission, she did say that I can give you updates on how I am doing on on the knit. I will share my process, what it looks like throughout, without going into details, of course. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just let you guys know on how the process is. And I think it's just going to be such a beautiful staple to my wardrobe. And on top of that, I have never knitted a vest before, so I am looking forward to it. That's the end of the talking portion of my podcast. So I'm gonna have you come along with me to some coffee shops that I will be knitting at or have knitted at. I am going to be house sitting for a friend, so you may see me knitting in a new area. It is in the mountains and it's just going to be a wonderful time. So let's get crafting and I'll see you on the next one.
of the frozen lake. Well, it's getting the time that is knocking, changing the water, it all comes to me. It's always getting harder to hold through the night. I'm sleeping I'm stepping out